and we were parking the vehicles all over the area. And instead of a friendly community, it was an aggravated community. Thank you now because it's done. But I requested, or they said that the measurements are correct. But I still keep saying that the measurements for the parking vehicles are too narrow. And when you open the door, you're immediately on the eastbound away. So maybe reconsider for safety. There's a lot of people that they just open the door without even realizing or thinking about it or checking the mirror, and they can get hit by a moving vehicle. So just little extra safety, a couple of inches extra would be beneficial. It's not necessary.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Last call from the public. Would like to give some public comment? Yeah. And you say your name.
Thank you, Cristiana. Manny Rodriguez. And I'm with an organization called the Ride San Diego. We're going to present in one of the agenda items today. But our organization focuses on improving transportation through public education, advocacy, and we do policy work as well. And I want to give a comment because Sandag reached out to us because they want to do improvements to the San Isidro transit station. And they reached out to us for a letter of support because they are applying for a federal grant. And I just wanted to know if Sandag is the agency that builds transportation projects in the county. I wanted to know if Sandag reached out to you all. I haven't given them a letter of support yet. I asked them like, hey, did you ask Casa Familiar? Did you ask all these other orgs? They haven't gotten back to me. But I wanted to know if they had reached out to you all first before we say anything. No? Okay. I'll let them know then. Thanks.
That's not for the condos they want to build. Right?
Okay, now we're gonna move to, thank you so much.
I'm sorry, what's the name of the company again?
Sandag?
No, your company.
Oh, it's a nonprofit called Ride SD.
Right, I know.
Now we're gonna move to item number 4, communications, announcements, special orders. I want to welcome Mr. Eddington. Yeah, you have around 5 minutes to introduce yourself and any updates. So
yeah, I'll speed run it. Yeah. Yeah, my name's Officer Carlos Eddington. I represent, as far as you guys know, it's Officer LaCara. He retired January 8th. And so I've become his replacement. I'm not new to the job. I did the 720 service area, which is north of the 905. So now I'm swooped in and taken over his area. And Officer Asensio now has my area. And so with that, I bring 18 years of experience, all of which have been in Southern Division. A little bit background even before that. I was born in Mexico and immigrated here to the U.S. I have lots of family in the San Isidro area. I grew up in San Isidro, went to Bayer Elementary before it was knocked down, and then traveled to Tennessee, Colorado, and made it way back. So, yeah, I'm now here. I'm very well aware of the issues that are going on in the community. Again, 18 years of experience here. I get most of the issues, and I think I have most of the solutions that can be solved, and or I can guide you to the right place. But I left my business cards there on the table. Please grab one. Email calling is good, but I'm in and out of my desk, and so email is best. I check it at least once a day. And with that, I've been doing this at my old planning group meeting and my old recreation group meetings. One thing there's so many things that I want to talk to you about, but I'm gonna respect time, and they'll be in next month too. They'll come. But obviously, there's a lot of tension in the Hispanic community. There's no doubt about that. It's the whole immigration enforcement issue. I get a lot of inquiries about that, emails, calls. I want to make it clear here as a representative of the San Diego Police Department that we do not engage in immigration enforcement. I've seen some articles that have floated around on the internet. I keep myself as educated as I can on this subject. I believe LAPD, there was an article that stated that calls for service went down about 30%. To me, it's an indication that people are afraid to call their local police department because they don't know what like my mom, for example. Now she makes sure that she's carrying her Mika around all the time. So clearly there's tension, there's fear, there's doubt. I want the community to know that they can call us. We do not engage in that stuff. And so much so that there's a California Values Act, which has laws preventing local police departments like us to engage in immigration enforcement action. We also have policies that prevent it. So there's things in place that you do not have to fear calling your local police department if you're a victim of a crime. It's important that you do so, and I hate to see individuals not calling if they're victims of domestic violence and other crimes because of fear of their immigration status. So please give us a call. As always, 911 for emergencies, 619-531-2000 for non-emergencies. And I'll have a lot more to share. Actually, I do. I have some time. Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, please ask me now. I'll bring more topics as we keep going with these meetings. I'll get to meet all of you. I'm notoriously bad at learning names, so it'll take me some time. I'll look at the cards, I'll look at the faces during these meetings, but I'm pretty bad at it, so I apologize for the first month or so. If anyone has any questions, I think yes.
I do. I have a quick question. Just, I know some communities have like domestic violence centers. I know it's been a topic among some of the planning members here about the subject. And is there anything for San Isidro or for the South Bay?
Yeah, so there is one safe place actually just recently opened in National City. If anyone's familiar with the In-N-Out off of Mile of Cars, actually across the street from that is now one safe place south. And it's a new facility. We took a tour of it and we've done about 3 meetings there. One of which was with community members, and we gave them a tour of the actual facility. It's great. They have like a free store, clothing store, toys, pantry, lawyers on hand or paralegals to help with restraining orders. And so that would be a great place to direct people. Forgot the address. It's either 444 Mile of Cars or 400 Mile of Cars, but don't take my word for it. Let me send an email out. Yeah. And you can refer people there. I'm even working on some stuff. I'm really excited. I have a lot of projects. I can't just stop. I have to be doing something. And I have a really great idea for, I'm working with a nonprofit, Casa Familiar. I'm going to have a meeting with them. Nothing's said and done right now, but I'm excited about it. I'm going to present the idea. I want there to be like not an office, but a small space where I can go once a month and have people have that comfort of home field advantage where they're not going to a police station to talk to someone. There's an officer dressed down in polo and jeans, and you can ask them whatever you want. It'll be the privacy of being behind a closed door and talking about those difficult issues. It's tough. It's a low-income community. You got breadwinners that may be the suspects. You got a lot of issues that need to be talked and hashed out. And I think having an officer there where they can just take a 5-minute walk and talk to him and get some guidance, I think it's going to be positive. Yes.
Just side recommendation,
Yeah.
please look broader than just Casa Familiar. There are
For
other
sure.
nonprofit organizations, so please make sure you include
Yeah.
them. Something may be a collaboration with rideshare where they could have
Yes.
like transportation. That's going to be a big plus.
Please, if you know any nonprofits for that matter that would be interested in giving me a small space once a month, that's all I'm asking.
library-
I'm not asking for much, just
The
an outlet.
library has small space. That
Yeah.
would be better. There's parking, there's everything.
And give me an outlet for my PC, my computer, to be able to log onto it and have access to programs. And again, I want to start like on a trial thing, once a month. See if people actually are comfortable enough to come and talk to me. If not, I mean.
You gotta advertise it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe people can say, hey,
Two more
look,
questions.
market it for me. I can do my part on Nextdoor and things like that, but maybe if that organization that gives me that little space can put up bulletins and say, hey, look, he's gonna be here on March 17th. Come and talk to him. No questions asked, just,
Let's
privacy.
do 2 more, I will
Yeah,
do
sorry.
3.
Yeah,
And then we're gonna proceed to the next topic. I know Mr. Morrison, you had your hand up.
It was just that my suggestion would be the library because it's neutral.
I love it.
And they have space, like dedicated small cubicle, not cubicle, but like office kind, like where you could meet.
Yeah, I just recently I took over this area and I've already started some of those emails, but the library is a great idea. Yeah, I'm down for it.
Mrs. Espinosa?
So, starting this year,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm all into domestic violence.
Mhm.
So we already started doing, and actually, I'm gonna give you a flood because I'm working on
Give it
that.
to me.
The address is gonna be right here. We have a space there for that already.
Okay,
And we've been working
this is
on it.
Virginia, right?
Yeah, it's down there right
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
Life Box.
Yep.
And I've been doing stuff already for domestic violence, and we have nothing down here.
I'll go talk.
So, you can talk to me because I'm doing
Okay.
the woman stuff. So I'm gonna send you an email.
Sounds good. Send me one. Yep. And I can do good talks. I can do talks with people. I can explain to them the laws in California, how it work, restraining orders, where to get them, things like that.
Ms. Palestina?
I'm just looking, I think it's a great idea. I know in the past I've attended like a coffee with the cop or something like a casa familiar. They've done that a few times that I've been aware of. But I think we can all kind of work together. I think it's a really kind of something that would benefit. Maybe like it takes the community for everybody to kind of get that. Like for me, example, I'm a mom. I go to all these meetings in school district, blah, 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 blah. So we can really pull like a lot of moms, like you say, that don't know their rights, don't know this, but
Sure.
maybe you can also maybe with the schools, like give a little, I don't know. I mean, just suggesting, throwing another idea in there.
Yeah, I love it.
Thank you so much, Mr. Eddington. And yeah, now we're gonna move to anybody from the mayor's office, Mayor Todd Lord's office. Seeing none, Rodrigo, you wanna take it?
Yeah. So, starting off with council-related actions. Tuesday, February 11th, literally yesterday, an amendment to extend the contract with Bayer Park Contractors was formally signed. So this means that we're now going into phase 2 of the Bayer Park. So it's continuing, and it should be done in the coming year. Something that also happened on Friday was the mayor's executive action for Balboa parking fees. Mayor Todd Gloria rolled back the use of parking fees for residents of the city of San Diego, residents from other cities like Chula Vista, National City, Spring Valley, wherever, still have to pay. But for city of San Diego residents, you just have to register online, and then you get free parking in certain parking lots. Again, Councilmember Moreno voted against it from the beginning, so we're finally getting back our parking. And today, on Tuesday, audit committee listened to the Councilmember Moreno as the chair of the audit committee heard the audit for leases on golf property portfolio. In this motion, she requested that city staff provide an update on negotiations for Fairbanks Ranch Golf Course to ensure that the lease revenue is maximized. Right now, we're not getting as much as we're supposed to, and those $2.5 million that should be coming in from that lease would most likely restore library hours to what they used to be before they got cut in the last fiscal year. Moving on from City Council, going to community updates. Cutterwood and Smythe. I know it's a topic that has been brought up various times to make this a one-way street. City staff rejected the request. They said that due to it's already the standard street widths and that are suitable for two-way operation. Although I know that that's true. They said that they often encourage vehicles speeds, divert traffic to neighboring streets, and could negatively impact operation of existing traffic control devices. The council member already heard this response from the city, and she wants to push back on this and wants to try to make this a one-way, or at least figure out a solution that will make this a proper street. Howard Lane Park, construction set to come in winter 2026, 2027, and it will take a year. Therefore, it will be complete around New Year of 2028. The Howard Lane crosswalk, which will be on Dairy Mart Road and Plantel Way, is expected to begin construction in the summer of 2027. Bayer Boulevard, the parking has been reinstated. Only around 15 spots were removed, but people can park there now. And like Daniela Orozco has said, we've spoken at length about this issue. They are a little bit reduced, but the city still believes that it is a proper size. Dairy Mart road widening. It's been a 20-year issue. Simons still keeps elongating the issue. Council member has said that she wants to talk to the city attorney to see what we can do to expedite this process, because right now we're going to the same situation that we were in September. In September, they told us that they were in preliminary review and that they were going to go into an administrative hearing. Right now, they're telling me that they're still in preliminary review, and that if they take too long, they're going to go again to an administrative hearing. So it's just going into this now. So if we turn the page, it's just again the memo that we sent to the mayor about the Caltrans issue with homelessness. And then if we turn the page again, I left a couple of copies of a report from the city of San Diego with the Get It Done app. District 8 is the lowest, has the lowest Get It Done reports in the city of San Diego. They are, last, with Council District 5 being a close second to last. And in the District 8, San Isidro has only had 34 pothole reports in the past 6 months. We obviously know that there's not 34 potholes in San Isidro, but San Isidro does not report anything that has to do with potholes. So I would like to encourage everybody to start taking the time and reporting, Get It Done. We're only so big in our office, and I'm only one guy, one representative, so I can't go through every pothole. And it is effective. So out of 38 reports, only one is still pending.
We're gonna take some questions, so Adriana and then Mr. Morrison.
So for the Get It Done app, there's one thing that kind of deters me from reporting.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give an example of situations. We've had 2 trees fall down in the middle of the street blocking traffic, almost caused an accident and an injury. One tree fell on top of a car.
Yeah.
And when I went into the Get It Done app to report it, it says, oh, you're not gonna get back to you 2-3 days.
Yeah.
So part of me was just like, oh, then what's the use? So that little thing, there has to be something where you could flag it as high importance.
Mhm.
You put it through because it's really critical.
Yeah. I'll bring it up to transportation, but usually when that happens, they refer you to the non-emergency hotline. Although it is an emergency, the non-emergency hotline will usually send out a crew that will help out with those type of issues.
Mhm.
When it's like a tree that falls on an area where there's no cars going by, it just fell on the side of the sidewalk or something like that. It usually takes 2 or 3 days, but they're reviewing it constantly. There's 3 people that are constantly reviewing the Get It Done app as submissions come in. So if it's in between the hours of 9 to 5, they will usually see it immediately.
Okay.
But we should report everything because it's critical. The more we report, the more something that's going on.
But
It's
it
like
is,
calling the police.
but it is insurance, because when you're like, well, what am I gonna report, it's gonna take 2. I had to flag down an officer and he saw that people were literally almost crashing into it. We were in the middle of the street deterring, we stole the cone from across the street to put it
I
on
think
there.
it does tell you like 3 or 5 days. It'll take 3 or 5 days, and it says if it's an emergency, call the non-emergency hotline.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Morrison.
Yeah, is there a way you can bring something like this, but for calls to the police? I know that they're on their staff and stuff, and every time I call like the non-emergency, hours pass by and nothing, and I have to call, and it's just, that's why people don't call, because they're like, what's the use of me calling if nobody's gonna come and respond? An example, I called 2 nights ago, some kids looked like 9-year-olds were throwing fireworks next to a wooden fence and literally on top of cars.
Mhm.
That to me seemed like an emergency. Somebody's gonna get hurt.
Yeah.
Nothing for hours.
Yeah, it's the understaffing issue right now. It's really extensive. Right now, the city is obviously trying to find funds for everything, but we do know that the city council does prioritize police funding, and even if we're underfunded. So right now, City of San Diego, I think Carlos mentioned in the morning at another meeting that City of San Diego has always been a city that has been able to work with the resources that are usually not enough. But I will bring it up to the councilman.
Yeah, seeing something like this would be good. Thank you.
Let's do 3 more people. So Ms. Wilton, and Katie Cat, and then there was another hand. Okay, just 2.
Okay, I was gonna wait till the board member section, but this is just relevant now because we were at an earlier meeting, a community and economic development meeting this morning. And we have an intern from Civic Community San Diego who actually wrote in English the directions, and also the backside in Spanish, the directions for Get It Done and the step-by-step process for going through and navigating that system. And so if anyone hasn't seen it before, it's kind of a nice tutorial. So I'm gonna just pass these along to everybody in the community as well. And so you can get a sense of what you need to do to report things and to encourage this group and all of us and our neighbors and our fellow business people to report these things, because as you can see from Rodrigo's, presentation, that they're collecting the data. If we don't report it, even if we feel like it's not gonna get done for days, if we don't report it, it's not gonna get recognized. And this is how we get things done, is by noticing, taking pictures, and submitting these requests.
As well as the police, we can be a royal pain, and that's how the more we do it, the more they're gonna pay attention to it.
Right.
If we don't report, it's just not enough.
Yeah.
Which is why I was requesting to remove that deterrent, because I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, trust me, I already apologize to Carlos because I feel like I'm sending him five emails a day.
When I should be busy.
Yeah.
Can I do one quick question? So from the data here, it says,
This is
like
from
if we,
September.
if we report them, it takes 3.4 days for a patch?
Yeah.
But that's a small patch, not like those big ones?
Oh yeah, to rebuild the whole street,
Big
and yeah. But yeah, usually a patch around, I think they told us from here to here, they can usually do it in 2 to 3 days. And
We should do a community event, walk San Isidro.
that data is
do the
collected
whole-
from 6 months. So it's since September, no, even before from June. Since June, there was only 34 reports. So
Let's hear from Angelica.
Angelina.
Angelina, I'm so sorry,
You're good,
Angelina.
you're good. And it's a quick question. So the parking for, in Balboa, for
Yes.
San Diego residents, that's effective now?
yeah. So you just go online and just register like as a San Diego resident. And there's I think it's around 7 parking lots that have free parking for San Diego residents. It just depends, and you just have to check online. But there are.
Where do you register, do you know?
I think it's on the Parks and Rec website.
Hmm.
I'm not too sure though. Or transportation, one of those two. I'll verify them.
Does it cost money to get verified?
Luckily.
I think there is like a fee of like, at least for my, there's like a $5 fee to,
I
could be
think
wrong.
I think that might be for the membership. Because there used to be memberships for when you wanted to go into the parking lot. If you went every day, you could do like a monthly subscription or a monthly membership.
Okay.
But I think that's what it was for.
Thank you so much, Rodrigo. Andres, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Andres Gertz Barreto. I am with the Office of Supervisor Paloma Aguirre. I saw you guys not that long ago, it feels like. But I do have some good updates. So about 2 weeks ago, we had a Board of Supervisors meeting where 2 very important board letters were passed. One was in conjunction with Supervisor Tara Lawson-Remer. That had to do with allocating $2.5 million towards fixing the hotspot for the Tijuana River Valley on Saturn Boulevard. I'm sure you've maybe seen it in the news. It's where it's very frothy and it's where the sewage gets aerosolized and thrown up into the atmosphere. So we put the money towards that, and they're doing a feasibility study on installing, I guess it's kind of like piping that would go from one side over the bridge to the other side and down into the water. So the water wouldn't cascade off as a waterfall and aerosolize everything. It would flow smoothly down to the other side. So they're doing a feasibility study on that. And then the other board letter was allocating $4 million in the reserve funds for the air purifier program, AIRE. Many people here in this zip code, as well as Otimesa Nestor and Imperial Beach, are eligible to sign up to get a free air purifier. We're trying to raise $4 million additional dollars for a total of 9. We have 5 right now, and we're contacting a lot of philanthropic organizations, as well as state, federal for funding for that. So I will update you when we get more funding, and then you can all get your names on the distribution list so that we can get those air purifiers either sent to your house, or we do have distribution events throughout the year. Another important board letter that was passed was the CLEAR ordinance. This ordinance particularly impacts our immigrant community members. This makes it so that in county offices and county buildings, that ICE agents or other federal immigration agents are not allowed to enter without a judicial warrant. we want this to be made very clear, especially in this community, because people who are going for healthcare, whether they're signing up for Medi-Cal or whether they're signing up for SNAP benefits, that they don't have to be afraid to come to county government buildings, regardless of their immigration status. So they'll be safe there, and immigration agents can't just swarm it and come in without a judicial warrant.
Does immigration court count?
If it's in a county courthouse, then it would count. Yeah. So like this, I believe it's like the Superior Court of San Diego.
But not the immigration court that's in, where it's like a different, no, it's like a
If it's a
separate.
federal courthouse, that would be different from a county courthouse. I'll have to get back to you on that one. But I know for county.
Because that's where they go when they have a case.
Right.
So I'm just curious if they're safe there too or no.
That's a great question. I'll yes.
How about the parking? Getting to parking and into the building?
That's another great question. I know that inside the building, obviously, but parking, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, these are great questions.
On the
Yeah.
streets. They stop people on the streets.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, on the streets. But as far as I'm concerned, I will figure out those two answers, whether it extends to parking lots as well as county courthouses. I'm almost certain county courthouses, yes. Parking lots out in the open, that could be a little dicey. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that, but I'll find out the answer for you. And then recently, the supervisor went to Bonita, one of our unincorporated communities, on a small business walk. She highlighted a few businesses that are locally owned, as well as going to the Sweetwater Community Planning Group. So that being said, I'm putting together, hopefully in April, for the supervisor to come to San Isidro to highlight some locally owned businesses, as well as to come to the community planning group to be able to address you all and to say hello and introduce herself if you didn't make it to our town hall down at the public library back in October. So I'm going to be talking with Christian as well as the rest of the board group to see, what businesses you guys recommend, as well as if it would work out for April or if another time would work out. And then lastly, the Office of the Supervisor is inviting gubernatorial candidates for the upcoming election. So we have the primaries coming up in June, and then the general election for governor in November. So she's inviting all the governor candidates down to tour the Tijuana River Valley, to tour this whole area, to talk with constituents, talk with community members. And she wants to make sure that they understand the situation down here and to make a pledge that first day that they become governor, that they will go ahead and make it so that it's considered an official emergency declaration of this area. So that way we would be able to unlock state funds for everything going on down here.
And what is that event called?
It's not an event. It's we're in touch with like governors, their campaigns, so we're getting them. The first one is going to be on the 17th, so next Tuesday, and that's going to be governor candidate Katie Porter. She's coming down, and it's going to be starting in, I believe, Imperial Beach. But we're going to try to highlight all the communities along the border, and I will update you accordingly.
And that's on her page, right?
I don't know if that's on her page yet. We just literally as I left the office, got confirmation that that's happening on the 17th. So I'll update. I'll send it.
Any questions? Raise your hand. On the 3 questions.
Is it open to the public or just them? Like, can community members show out the 17th and go and observe from?
Yeah, I'm sure they'd be able to come observe. I don't know all the stops on the tour yet because it just happened, but I can get that information. I can have it sent out via Christian if it's like a real public event that we're trying to focus it on different areas. So starting Imperial Beach, Otay Mesa Nestor, as well as San Isidro. So we'll get governor candidates down here and we'll try to make a big noise about it because we want them to see our communities and to see what we go through on the day-to-day.
2 more people? See, one, second one, okay, one, and then, we're gonna.
Just a quick, do you think next time you come, you could create some, not this elaborate, but just a simple bullets?
Sure.
Discussing so we could take reference and.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, next time around, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for
Andres.
your time.
Thank you.
Is there someone from Sycpg's office? No? Liliana, so you're here, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, it's nice to see you all. And first I want to introduce Giancarlo Azueta. He is one of our interns here at the district office.
Nice to meet you guys.
He's a student, a fourth year at SDSU. So he'll be in the office this spring semester. And as always, we can help with state-related issues. Any state departments, feel free to contact our office. You can email me or call me at the office. And I did have a meeting with Caltrans regarding encampments in the South Bay. They did emphasize to continue reporting on their website, creating a report, a customer service request number, and they provided a phone number and email to contact them for live updates on the encampments that you report. But as always, you can also send them my way. Send me the customer service ticket number, and we can also follow up with them. But there is a website and a phone number I can share with Christian, and he can share it with the group as well. And Assemblymember Alvarez is going to have a community coffee in San Isidro next month. It's going to be on a Saturday. I'm finalizing the location, but as soon as I have it, I will share it with the group. And I hope we can have you all there. Come say hello to the member, have some one-on-one conversations with him. That would be great. So I will finalize the flyer and send it to Christian to share with the group and all the details. And then we're excited because we just launched the Young Legislators Program for high school students. This is an opportunity for high school students, sophomores, juniors, and seniors next school year to apply. They can apply now until the 27th. And it's an opportunity for them to learn about the state government, legislative process, public service. There will be sessions on the legislative process, but also on financial literacy, wellness, and college preparedness. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and please share with any high school students that you know, because it's a great opportunity. It's the first year that we run the program, so we're very excited. The first cohort, it's a session a month from June till December, and they'll be recognized at our last event of the year, which is the holiday posada. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Do you know how many seats available for that?
Since it's the first time we do it, we were thinking of 10, but we'll evaluate again if we receive a high number of applicants.
Do you know what the criteria is?
They have to either live or attend school in the 80th Assembly District, be a sophomore, junior, senior next school year, and be able to attend the sessions.
Yeah, Ms. Morrison.
Could you also bring something like this with the homeless issue? I would like to see more data on that.
At our meeting with Caltrans, we did ask for statistics. They're preparing them, and they will send it our way. So once we have more, I can share whatever they let us share.
Any last questions? 3, 2, 1. Well, thank you so much, Liliana.
Thank you,
And I'll leave the flyers here.
Thank you. Is there any other representative in attendance that would like to give some announcements? No? Okay. I'm gonna put a timer of 10 minutes for the board members. So please, there's a lot of insects. So you be conscious of the time that you're taking. 10 minutes for all of us. We're gonna start with morning. We're gonna go that way. So, if you don't have any updates, you can also say no updates.
I don't have any updates.
What about any comments? I know I missed the meeting that you said this morning. Anything
Let's
new?
see. There was a representative from a nonprofit talking about how you can protect yourself and employees from ICE. The takeaway really was that I think it was more geared towards businesses, but that, you can post areas in your workspace that just say private or employees only, and that prevents anyone from coming in. They cannot clear the threshold if you have it posted in your space. What else did we talk about this morning?
That would be an interesting presentation for here.
For here,
I
right,
think.
right. And I think he said he's a nonprofit, he works for a nonprofit and he does talks of any kind. So I can look into that and see if he would maybe come and present something to our organization,
I think he works for the county.
the county,
He does
right?
work for the
County is-
county,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Okay,
Yeah, thank you for the
Thank
update.
you.
I haven't been able to make it in the
Yep.
mornings, but yeah.
Mr. Lopez? Mrs. Espinosa?
Yes. So I started in January. I'm gonna start doing events at Black Box because it's down there on Virginia Avenue. And they have men's group, they have a lot of things for men, but there's nothing here for females. So I'm starting to collaborate with them. The first one was starting domestic violence, so self-love. And then we did etiquette class, and all these classes are gonna be free. So I'm getting females to, so I want San Isidro to stand up, especially for the females, because there's nothing out here. And if there is, they're through Casa Familiar, but we need to get out of that area because San Isidro is bigger, not just that nonprofit. And I kind of want everybody to understand that that's not the only nonprofit out here. And not everybody gets invited to those events. So there's more out there, and that's what we're doing over here. We're bringing people from outside who are going to be giving free classes. We're actually doing a dance tomorrow because we're going to have a big event, International Women's Day. And it's going to be like the 6th year we do it, but this one's going to be over 100 females within the community who are going to get recognized. Could be a mom that does things on her own, fundraising for, I don't know, like for different things. So it's a lot of things coming up. The fundraiser is going to be because we need a stage. We have 12 people that are going to be singing, performing, and all these recognitions through the daytime. So it's going to be pretty big. So the fundraiser tomorrow is a dance, Black Box. There's going to be more things. I already have a free mandala class, which people pay like $50. It's going to be free. These are like all my contact my friends, and we're going to bring stuff to San Isidro, but it's going to be free because Black Box is a nonprofit. I am not a nonprofit, but I'm going to bring this stuff for the females. I am going to get in touch with you because there will be certain people that space, and I'm going to pass some flyers out. And all these events that we're going to be doing are going to be free. I do appreciate both of you because you've been helping out with the recognitions. Most of these people that come down here, they're happy with the recognition and they'll do the service for free. So I think we're all doing something together, especially for the females. And the spot right there, it might be ugly from the outside, but once you go inside and you feel everything going in and all these people coming in, you're gonna see the difference on the location. I appreciate you guys. When we put through these events, just show up. It counts, and it's good to see people from the community. So I pass some flyers out. That's it.
Thank you so much, Olga. For me, so we're echoing about Black Box. We're also going to we're already build a community garden. When I say we, I say Albert because I live right in front of it, so I see him quite often. And we got some high school students from San Isidro High School that are in construction, and they just came, had a field trip, and they just built stuff. And they're going to do it again because they want to do a shed. And we're going to need volunteers to maintain that garden. So if anybody's interested in that, just put it out there. That's my big update.
I don't have it.
Ms. Castañeda?
I want to reiterate what Olga's doing. I actually went to one of her first events. She went all out. It was very, very nice, very tasteful. I think there was like more than 10 people, maybe 12. And she's right. You go in and it does look a little off, but there's parking. It's a free service, and you go in there, and it was classy all the way. It was actually pretty impressive. The unity and the love and everything that she's putting into it. I encourage you guys to show up and be present. You'll really see what she's doing. And then I also want to get in contact with you. Just a little background. Back in the day, we're talking about mid-1995, when Teherano started the South Bay Services Domestic Violence. I was actually one of the advocates back in the day when it was just getting started.
Okay.
It's very emotional. I had to walk away because I was absorbing all the passion, but I would definitely love to work with you on that again.
Yep.
So I have a lot of experience in being an advocate, filling out paperwork, and going to parties. So that's that. Okay, that's all.
Mr. Arredondo?
No, I don't have any.
Ms. Palestino?
No, thank you.
Mr. Morrison? Okay, now we're gonna move to, we're going relatively quick, on item, number 5. So first we have to take a vote, about the presentation that was done last time. I don't know if y'all remember the presentation with the park of the, tower that they're doing for security. And they asked us for their support, so, yeah, I'm gonna, we have to say either we approve or disapprove, so I'll make a motion to approve the project, but if someone wants to, discuss it, let me know. But yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the project. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Any second? Any discussion? Anybody wants to discuss it? Then I'll, all of the you that are in favor of approving the project, say, aye.
I'm sorry, Lisa, can you repeat that? I was gonna ask you about the flyer for the garden maintenance.
Yes.
I got sidetracked.
So basically, last meeting, we had a presentation, by the public safety tower company. They were talking about the benefits of having that for this, for the first responders in a park. I'm blanking on the
Oh,
name.
yes.
And basically it's gonna be like a tower, but they're gonna disguise it as a tree, just for aesthetics purposes, but they want us to give them their support, so, I'm making a motion to approve of that, unless someone wants to discuss it, so.
I just had a question. I know one of the members asked about radiation or the effects on the community. I don't think we got an answer on
Yeah,
that.
he did.
He did?
Answer. He said there is absolutely
No risk.
no risk.
Okay.
With that being said, then, any other discussion items? Any other discussion about this?
Just have a quick question. Regarding this kind of voting, how do you notify the community? Like, for instance, the project called the San Isidro Pike project. In all the community, they just mentioned, oh, please move your vehicles because you're gonna do some work, and everybody thought that they were gonna pay only. And nobody knew about the Pike project. And we were 2 years without parking.
Yes, to answer.
Notify the community.
So, about that, we try our best to post it, to post the agenda on the websites about the projects. We don't have ultimate power. We are doing a recommendation, and it's up to the city of San Diego. They can actually disregard, even if we don't prove it, they can actually do it regardless. So that's just, I wanted to point that out. And with regards to the bike lanes, I'm not too familiar with if it was a vote through the planning group. I wasn't here. I know Rudy, you were here, so do you have any more information about that?
So it's not our responsibility, this group, it's not our responsibility to notify. It's whoever's doing the project. And I know for a fact, because I was involved in the beginning, there was, I don't know if you were living there at the time, but this was like a 7-year planning process. The notifications were sent by the relative agencies. So you'll get a postcard and maybe it looks unimportant and you throw it away, but it'll say. Or now they do a trifold and they put a little sticker on it, and then you open it and it's got the information on a project, who to call at the city or who to call at Sandag. And then it comes to us for a recommendation, but it's not our responsibility to notify all the neighbors. So for projects, mostly it's half a mile radius. But it'll come from the city.
Okay, so please consider the community, like I'm here because I'm representing kind of about
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
And these kind of notifications are kind of important because we didn't even vote it, or we didn't even consider it. That was taken without notification. So I think as a responsibility of, districts have the responsibility to notify people at least what's going on. If you don't have the people or the meetings, let's figure it out. I think emails are enough to notify people, especially the apartment administrations, the complex. They can notify the residents. And I'm just trying to give you some suggestions of how it could work, maybe.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Espinosa.
I want to add, I want to thank you for coming, because we need people from this community to be like you, but nobody cares. And I'm telling you straight out, because these meetings were not here, they were down there. We went out there many, many years and people don't, it doesn't matter if you give them, unless you give them like free stuff, they'll go, but they want to participate. So I'm really thankful that you're here. If you know more people, bring them over, because that's the people that we need that really care. But the bike lane, when it was voting, I said no, I was for it. So it's not like we all say yeah or like no, we all have our opinion on subjects, but it's not, it doesn't depend on us. It's just like a letter or recommendation.
And just for the record, regarding the bike lane, especially Officer Hamilton, it's open right now, right? It's supposed to be open. But still, there is no proper notification, and you can see people riding bicycles and jogging still on the main lanes, not using the bike lane or the.
It's not open.
No.
It's still blocked off because they haven't handed over the project. It's not complete.
They said mid-February.
Yeah.
They
So
still have
it's not,
4 days
I know
left.
people think it looks done, but it's not, and it's still blocked off, so bike can't get in. Like, I know they can get in, but it's blocked off at all entrances too. So that's why they're still on the street, they're still on the sidewalk, because it hasn't been handed over. It's not done.
Well, but it's paved and it's already.
It's not done.
Yeah.
The liability right now is still on the contractor, it hasn't been handed over.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna make the motion. Those that are in favor of approving the project, the one about the Public Safety Tower Company, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Any abstentions? So this passes unanimous. This passes by everybody. So yeah, now we're gonna now go to item 5B, our presentation by Mr. Manny Rodriguez. We have around 15 minutes. Okay. So we're gonna do 15 minutes of presentations, and then we're gonna have 5 questions if people wanna ask questions. So questions at the end. Okay.
Do I make this whole screen?
Thank you.
Can you try in the email too? The email that you sent me? Ahí? Maybe we can handle that one.
Okay. A little bit better.
Let me give you your minute back.
Just while we're waiting, I looked at the Balboa Park.
The website to
website.
register?
You do have to register. There's a $5, one-time $5 fee to register for the residents. And then once you get.
Through Parks and Rec?
If you go to the page at the top, it says that there was a change made on February 6th and it won't take effect until
What's
So
the
we can
website?
still get away without paying.
March the 3rd or something like that. So if you go to the page at the top, it'll. Yeah.
Let's hear from our speaker, Manny.
Okay, well, thank you again. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thanks for taking the time to listen today. I'm going to talk about residential parking. Who here has frustrations with residential parking? See some hands over there, some hands over here.
Frustration.
I think everyone, yes. So I'm from Ride SD. We're a nonprofit that does policy and advocacy around transportation to improve transportation in San Diego. And we do work all across the city, and we hear frustrations from all the neighborhoods, or most neighborhoods, especially neighborhoods with more population density, like San Isidro, like the Balboa Park neighborhoods, like some of the coastal neighborhoods that have a lot of people living in them. Parking is a big frustration for people. So we're trying to address parking frustrations because it's really affecting people's quality of life, people's attitudes. You know, it's like multiple times a week I have a conversation with someone, parking comes up, and it's always negativity. And we don't want this negativity in the city, right? We want to, solve problems. So I'm here today on behalf of Ride SD to present some solutions. Let me talk a bit more about Ride SD. Our mission is to improve transportation in San Diego through public education, community events, and grassroots organizing. Some of our work has involved advocating for tap to pay on transit, so being able to pay with your phone or mobile wallet. We do public events that educate the public on transportation. So for example, we do tours of the MTS rail yards and headquarters. You can see that we're inside their rail yard depot here. We have workshops that were agencies like MTS or Sandag or NCTD present on projects that they're working on, and they're open to the public. We also advance transportation improvements like bus lanes, like some lanes where just the bus can drive on, that makes the bus skip the traffic and make it work faster for people. So we do a lot of public education, community events, and advocacy around transportation. And on top of that, we have a stipended policy fellowship for graduate students. That graduate students come and they do some policy research for us. So the solutions I'm going to present today was created by one of our policy fellows. She's a graduate student from Chula Vista, and she's currently in the doing her master's program at University of Virginia. But she was kind enough to work with us on these programs. So let me start by explaining something called the residential permit parking. So residential permit parking is a policy tool that regulates on-street parking by reserving it for residents of a defined area through the issuance of permits. It basically means creating a zone where it's like, hey, only residents can park here. And the residents will have a permit saying that they can park there. And these programs can be designed to reduce congestions from non-resident parking, preserve access for residents, and manage limited space. So they can address these things. So the city has a few actually. And however, the parking permit programs that the city has, they serve the purpose of excluding people, not to actually manage parking within the neighborhoods. So for example, in Area B, they have it here to prevent SDSU students from parking in the neighborhood. In Area A, they have it here to prevent there's a huge medical complex here, and they have it here to prevent the nurses and doctors from parking in the neighborhood. Area D, Barrio Logan, they have it here because people will park around here to walk to the ballpark, and that was annoying residents. And Area F, well, this is like a special Cortez Hill unique case here, but most of them serve the purpose of just keeping people out, but they don't actually manage parking well within the neighborhood because people still complain about parking in these neighborhoods. Especially, I did canvassing here at the college area, knocking on doors, asking people like, what are your problems with transportation? And they said parking. But I said, you have a residential permit parking program. Like, why do you still complain about parking? Well, it's because there will be a house with like a retired couple. They maybe have one car and they have a permit, but the house next door is 5 SDSU students. They all get permits, and it's only like 2 to 3 spaces in front of each house. So if you give the 5 SDSU students in one house like 5 permits, they're going to take up, half the block. So the current programs that the city has, they work in keeping people out. SDSU area, they keep out the commuters. Here they keep out the medical workers. Here they keep out the Petco Park visitors. But they don't actually work to make it manageable within the neighborhood. People still complain. So we're going to talk about ways to make it work within the neighborhoods, and that's what this presentation is about. But first, I want to talk about something called the tragedy of the commons, which applies to public resources. So in a lot of, this is like an example that's really popular in law school where, let's say there's like an open pasture of like a green field pasture, and farmers find out about the pasture and they all let their cows eat there. But if no one is like regulating the pasture and farmers just let all their cows eat there nonstop without any rules, eventually it's all going to die out because no one is like saying, hey, we need to stop the number of cows coming in and let the grass grow in again. This is called the tragedy of the commons. Like when you don't regulate a public resource, like open space, it can, be ruined. And none of the farmers are wrong for doing this. Like the issue was that nobody, like the city, was not regulating access to it. And when too many people come to it, it just makes the situation worse for everybody. And now everybody's frustrated because there's no more green grass because everybody let their cows in. So I want to talk about this because we see a very similar problem with parking. Parking is a public resource. It's owned by everybody. The street is owned by everybody. But more homes are being built with no parking in them. So you're just bringing more cars kind of like more cows into this public resource. And many of those residents moving into those homes with no parking are still going to try to bring their cars. A lot of them, the city will say, oh, well, they can, bike, walk, take transit. But in reality, we all know that a lot of people are going to try to bring their cars. And that just makes everybody frustrated because especially in neighborhoods where there was already a little bit of parking left, now you have more people moving in trying to bring their cars in. So if we don't manage street parking, we're going to reach our own tragedy of the commons. Similar to the pasture with people letting all their cows in, same thing here. It's like our street, we're letting all these cars in without regulating it. And we're going to get to a point, some neighborhoods are already to a point where they're very frustrated about it. We jokingly call this Carmageddon, when there are just like 200 cars trying to park in a neighborhood with 100 spaces. The result is everybody is frustrated. So we are trying to address this. Some neighborhoods already feel like they're at this point. Other neighborhoods feel like they're getting to this point. Like North Park, we presented at North Park, they already felt like they were here. And so let's talk about how we can address this. So we can address this with residential permit parking programs. But how do we make them actually work? Not like the ones that the city currently has. Well, let's talk about our goals, right as these goals for residential permit parking. First of all, our goal is to create parking certainty for residents. So when you're driving home to your neighborhood or your parking zone, there's going to be a spot available for you. Second of all, we want to mitigate the impact of new housing with no parking. And third of all, we want to increase transit ridership, and because we are a public transportation focused organization. But we'll talk more about how these play into effect. So here's our solution, our solution proposed, which is what we call a neighborhood choice residential permit parking program. So the city should adopt a new residential permit parking program that, number one, is initiated by a neighborhood petition. So neighbors will be able to have a petition to say, hey, we want a residential permit parking program. It's not the city coming in saying, we're placing this on you. People come together and petition that we need a program, a permit parking program. And the petition should allow neighbors to pick how they would like the permits to be distributed and how much visitor parking to allow. Like 2 key questions that people will be filling out in the petition. And third of all, what's really important is that the permits are capped to the number of available parking spaces in the area. So there's 100 parking spaces in the neighborhood, there's 100 permits. But the neighbors will select how to distribute the permits. So let me get into that. How can the permits be distributed? Well, there's several ways to do it. First way is to do it by needs-based, followed by first come, first serve. So for example, if there's people whose livelihoods, their education, their job, their healthcare depends on them having a car to reach, their hospital or their work or their education, like their job is not accessible by transit or their kids' schools are not accessible by transit or by walking, they should get a permit immediately. Like when they fill out the application process, if they can prove these things, they get a permit immediately. And then after that, it's first come, first serve. So there's 100 permits. For example, there's 100 spaces, there's 100 permits. Maybe 30 people fit in this criteria and they get the permits right away so that they make sure that their livelihood or education or healthcare is not impacted. And then there's 70 permits left after those 30. And then those can be handed out first come, first serve. So whoever applies first gets the permits then after that. Or you can do it needs-based, followed by market price. So maybe you hand out those first 30 to people who absolutely need it, but then all the other ones are sold like at market price and say like, okay, maybe the city said the value of this parking space is this amount of dollars, we're gonna sell permits this much. This is where you give this option because we've heard that some neighborhoods would actually prefer this. I don't anticipate this neighborhood preferring it, but we've heard it from others. And so let me give an example here. So for number one, needs-based, so people whose livelihoods, education, healthcare depend on it. Let's go back to the SDSU neighborhood. The college students who live, 2 blocks from campus and they're full-time students, they're not going to be in this category. They are not going to be able to obtain a permit right away. However, the next door neighbor to them, who's their kid goes to a school that's like some charter school a few miles away, there's no transit or way for that kid to walk or bike to that school, they get a permit. And so you don't have a situation where SDSU students who live a few blocks from campus are able to get a lot of permits and then fill up all the spots. You make sure that the people who need the permits get the permits. The FCSU students can still apply, but they'll be first come, first serve after that. So here's our 2 examples of the ways they can be distributed. Another way it could be distributed is just all market price. So you just sell all the permits, like no consideration with needs. Or you can have it all first come, first serve, like whoever applies first gets the permit. Or you can do it randomly. You just randomly select who gets the permit. So when the petition is coming out, neighbors will be able to select, what do I want? How do I want these permits to be distributed? We don't want the city, we don't want the city to select for the neighbors. We want the neighbors to select for themselves how they want this permits to be distributed.
Sir,
Yes,
is it okay if I ask a question?
go ahead.
Do all those have major flaws though, right? Because so you're basing it on merit, and so now they have to fight for the merit for being able to get it, and then you have market-based price. Now you're kind of alienating people with low income. They're not going to be able to pay for it. And then what was the third one again?
Third one.
All first come, first served. And so now the people that just don't know how to navigate the website or there's language barriers, there's all these issues. Maybe they're elderly, they don't know how to get them, so they're kind of out of luck.
Yeah, so there are various ways to distribute them. Again, when the petition is coming out and neighborhoods are filling out, they can select what they would like the permits to be distributed. Each one has its trade-offs, of course. Each one, the neighbors will select what trade-offs they want. Each one has its own, flaws. But we're trying to once the permits are distributed and everybody has a permit, they know that I'm going to drive home. I have a permit. I know I have a spot waiting for me on the street. I'm not going to circle the block for 20 minutes and park half a mile away. So there will be, challenges with each system, but in the end, we're trying to solve the bigger problem, which is like too many cars trying to park in a limited zone.
But how long do you have?
I have a few more slides. I can get through it.
Yeah, let's finish the presentation, then we can ask the questions.
Okay, so we talked about how to distribute the permits and letting these are various ways the neighbors can select how to distribute them. We also want to talk about visitor parking. Neighbors should also be able to select how much visitor parking they want. So in the petition, it'll say I want 5% of spaces for visitor parking or 10% or some other amount. Or maybe some people will say, I don't want any visitor parking. And then they can also select, do you want visitor parking in designated spaces? So maybe each block has a designated space that says visitor parking only. Or would you like a system where the visitor can park anywhere and you just print out a guest pass for them? So that's an option that we would like to see on the petition for neighbors to select how they want visitors to come into the neighborhood. And so the key component for success here is capping the number of permits to the number of spaces on the street. Again, if you don't do this, you're going to just end up with the college area situation where they have a permit, but everybody and their dog gets a permit. So there's no spaces on the street for anyone.
Otherwise, not continue.
Yeah.
You could wrap up, and then we'll take 5 questions.
Yeah, I'll wrap up. Let me wrap up here. So let me just say the intended impact. One is create certainty and peace of mind for the residents. So you have a permit, you get off of work 11 o'clock at night, midnight, you're driving home. There's going to be spots because a spot there for you. You're not going to circle the block around for 20 minutes and park very far away. Also, you prevent the Carmageddon because new residents who move in will apply and be on the wait list to get in. So if there's a new building built with no parking in it, the residents who move into the building and they want to bring their car, they have to apply. But if all the permits have already been handed out, then they're on the wait list. So when they move in, they can't bring their car in right away. And in our view, Right of Steve's view is if you're moving into a building with no parking, you are not entitled to the street parking that the existing residents have become dependent on. If you're moving into a building with no parking, you should be ready to embrace a lifestyle that's not car oriented. So that's one thing we're proposing. And second of all is increased transit ridership. So if a new building with no parking is built, and these are typically near transit stops, and those people moving in, they're going to be on a wait list for a permit, so they can't bring a car in right away. They're going to, walk, bike, or take transit. So we see this as folks are going to, take transit and reduce traffic because they can't bring their cars in, at least not right away, because they're going to be on the wait list when they first move in. And so one more thing, in each of these zones that the city creates, they should also mark spaces on the street. This helps create efficiency so that there's people always know like where to park. The city could allow more parking spaces by letting people park in front of their own driveway. And for this to work, we think that the city should allow people to do self-enforcement. So for example, in a parking structure for an apartment building, you can call a tow truck when someone's not allowed to park in there. We think that in a residential parking zone, you should be able to call a tow truck if someone without a permit is parking in there. Because we know response times can take a long time for someone to come and tow the truck from the city. So
Or vice versa.
Same thing?
Or both. Sometimes they're really fast.
In my experience, they've been fast for apartment complexes. They come and take people just like that.
Usually stocking the place already.
Yeah.
So are we ready to take some questions?
Yeah, let's just jump to quick.
So I'm gonna put Ms. Castañeda first, then Ms. Palestino, Morrison. Remind me your last name, sir?
Daniel Orozco.
Okay, Morrison, and then Orozco. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hear from people that haven't. Let's do Angelica. Angelina. Some people that we haven't heard, and then we'll proceed another round. This is for the people that haven't spoken. Okay. So Ms. Castañeda.
Olga could take mine because she probably has a better question than what I have.
Okay,
And
Ms.
her
Espinosa.
hand, she had her hand up.
Okay, sorry, Ms. Espinosa.
Thank you, Christian. Yo voy primero?
Mhm.
Okay. So in this community, like I see everything you're doing. For some reason, I'm not clicking to what you're saying. So this community, there's a lot of complexes and they don't have parking. As you can see, everything's packed. Those are not residents from here, but they use addresses from here. So something like that, I already see like 20 permits for each household. And that's not, I don't think it's fair. Maybe personally, you should be advocating those places to not get built here because they're destroying the whole community. There's no parking. And in bike lanes, it's less parking. We have no parking period. Nothing, not even in the trolley, nowhere. So this sounds good, but if it's based on the way how you're saying it, all these people that have like these lived here forever, they have like 20 people living there with cars. And I don't see that here. If it's like that how you're seeing it, no, I don't think it's fair. I just don't see it. That's it. I have more to say, but it's
Because of the multi-generational density here, right?
Thank you for that clarification. Thanks, I appreciate that comment. On your comment about the building, under this administration and under this city council, the building is not going to stop. And I don't think the next mayor is going to stop the building either. So we're trying to work within those constraints. Like we're looking at, the current administration and just basing off who's saying they're going to run for mayor, it looks like they're also going to be pro-building. So like the building's not going to stop, and we need something that makes sure those new buildings with no parking that they don't all try to bring those new residents don't try to all bring their cars in. So this is like, maybe I don't see the building stopping anytime soon, just based off my political analysis of what's going on. So this is trying to address that. Like those buildings are going to be built. So how do we make sure those new 200 residents don't try to bring another 200 cars into their neighborhood? And this is what we're trying to tackle with that.
Ms. Palestino?
I'm just curious to see or to understand. I know you kind of just left it off, but the District F, the red one, I'm just curious, how did they get their parking or what makes them different than the other sections? That's one of my questions. And then the same thing where I live, I live on Sunset and Averill, and I see like before we were like where I live, it was like an empty lot. Now there's like apartments. They built more apartments here. Thankfully, I do have indoor parking, but when you have, like they say, multiple people, usually it's like 4 cars each household, right? At least usually. So those people that have to look for parking, but they're already competing with how many apartment complexes, like we don't have parking. I don't even see how, no. And then now with the new laws, with the curbs and the red, like it's not even fair now. It's never going to be fair. It's first come, first serve. Everybody knows like, hey, you know what? Si sales a las 3, you better park outside. And then when mom gets home, like you're going to move it. Like everybody just, because I have people come into my house, therapies or stuff like that for my daughters. They're like, whoop, like, you know, we can't, they park like a mile away. And I'm like, hey, you guys can come inside. I have like an extra park. Like, but they're, you know what I mean? It's crazy. And then it's already dark so early and they're like walking back to their car. Like, you know what I mean? But I honestly don't see it benefiting our community. And we agree, but it's a great kind of plan. But realistically, I don't even see how that would benefit anybody.
Going back to the multi-generational culture.
Yeah, well, I want to know if you all see the value in making sure that people who need a car for work, livelihood, education, that they can always have a spot in their neighborhood.
That's all of us, though. We're a hardworking community.
Well,
we're all of us need
I
a
know
ride.
a lot of you do, but there's also like, you know, a lot of people who, for example, they buy their son a car when he lives walking distance to school. Does that son need a car and to bring it in, you know? Like, or somebody who maybe has like 3 cars and they store them out in the street and they only use one of them. Like, you know, in City Heights, for example, I used to work in City Heights. A lot of people have multiple cars and just leave them on the street and they don't move them at all the time. Like something like this.
Or like the example on the boulevard where people park the selling cars, like that would be a good idea for like the boulevard, because even though there's apartments on the boulevard, but like it'll stop from all those people that are selling cars and they're just taking up parking spaces.
I agree with her. On the busy streets, the boulevards, Bayer Boulevard, the main streets, this would be ideal, not for the side streets. Once again, multi-generational community.
Yeah. In Washington, D.C., they have a similar program, but they have it where only one side of the street is residential permit parking and the other side is open parking. And maybe we have like, you know, one side of the street is like permit parking for people who need it for, you know, like urgently need it for like childhood or childcare, healthcare, education, life, work. And maybe we do that where some streets are this, and people who do need
a 2-hour parking.
2 hours. Or 2 hours. You would say 2 hour parking.
I mean, on the boulevard, to me, it sounds like legit because sometimes you just need a
meters.
No, hombre, los van a descomponer todos.
No, you don't meter now each one. There's a machine where you pay for that particular space.
Like $40 for parking in downtown.
But I
for,
do have to
for all
say,
day,
a
even
lot
though
of
if
people on
you
the
take 20
boulevard are
minutes.
actually living and sleeping in their cars, and I could attest to that because I go out and hand out food.
Mr. Morrison?
Yeah, I was also gonna say same with Olga. You know, there's not enough parking, and I think the way we should push this for is build with parking. Don't build 200 units with 50 parking spots. Build 200 units with 250 parking spots. That rule that was made. Sorry about my language, but that was stupid. That was dumb, and they already saw what's happening, and they keep allowing it. And they say, oh, you know, it's low income, so they don't need a car. That to me also seems like
Even more so, you need a car.
exactly like why if they're low income should they not need a car? That's dumb. And they keep denying it. I know they want to keep building, but they also need a car. Everybody needs parking, so let's push for no more building with not enough parking. That's what's causing all the issues here in San Isidro. That's the main thing. If we didn't have that, we would have enough parking. And I lived it through Vista Lane. They built this massive, horrible building. Sorry, I don't like it at all.
I wonder, it's always full.
And you cannot park. You cannot park anywhere near because that's what they did. They built like 350 units with like 110 parking spots. Does not make sense.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. You know, as I mentioned earlier, I think under this administration and the next ones, I don't think they're gonna roll back on those rules. So we're just trying to work with the reality that we're seeing on the ground. I mean, if you know the candidates for mayor were saying we're going to make parking required again, maybe we wouldn't be presenting this, right? But we don't see that happening anytime soon.
Well, maybe somebody who says that should, you know, go up. Maybe we'll vote for him.
Mr. Orozco?
My vote.
Yeah, that, but I want to add, this is a good plan, but please consider at least 3 permits per household, no more.
Or 2.
Second, don't sell them, because there's a lot of people that have friends They come to their homes for, I don't know, play video games. And they're gonna be buying these permits just for the heck of parking in front of a couple of feet away from the friend's apartment or the girlfriend or whatever. So do not sell them. If you check with the licenses, with the address, with the, who really lives in the community. One of the main problems when I approached you is because I was parking my vehicle all around. I live in Bayer Boulevard, and I was parking my vehicle all around. I and several people had our vehicles vandalized. Slide tires, broken windows, paper saying, if you park here again, we're gonna burn your vehicle. And I went to your office, and I think I mentioned it to you, because I took a threat letter actually to the police.
Wow.
And they say, we can't do anything because we don't know who that is. So when I got my tire slides, I had to pay like $400 for just parking my vehicle in an area that you're supposed to park. And the people who have homes that they don't have the driveway, you're not blocking the driveway, but they consider the sidewalk in front of them as their property. And that's another big thing. So this is perfect. And I would like to, Rodrigo, that thing about the spaces, marking the spaces, perfect. And if you can implement it in the San Isidro or Bayer Boulevard, because there are people who are parking the vehicle, taking 2 spaces, and waiting for someone to come, the family member to come from work or whatever, and they call, and they move the vehicle and they park the vehicle. And it is a really complicated thing.
It is.
Ya tienen maña aquí.
The what do you call it? Camera or right now this community is an aggravated community, and I still see those threats, and I still see those problems when people come from other buildings. They're not even here in Bayer Boulevard, and they park the vehicles there because there is no parking. So this is a perfect solution, kind of, but it has to be really well implemented.
Thank you. That's what we're here for, to talk to you all and see, get this input, how it would be best implemented for each, neighborhood. Thank you. Next question.
Let's do 2 more, and then we're gonna, we have other items on the agenda, but, Angelina, right? So I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine. So I only work here in San Isidro, I don't live here, so take that into account hearing the different comments versus mine. I want to reiterate something that they mentioned about the flaws in the process of giving out the permits. There are so many things to consider about why somebody needs a car: disability, gender, age, responsibilities that aren't necessarily just health or education or work related. And it felt too simple of like a decision process. And I also just think it is unfair to have people within a community decide whose responsibilities are more important than someone else's. I don't think that is a reasonable way to distribute permits. And then additionally, I think that it could be a great solution, but I do think it's a very simple solution for a very complex issue. Given that one of the goals that your organization works towards is also improving or increasing transit use. This, like, none of what you described, in my opinion, encourages transit use, because there's no educational component about it. There's no discourse on what transit is available. And so I would just encourage, like, you and your team to go back and consider how could your solution that you're proposing be way more complex, because it's a very complex issue. Specifically, the statement that really stuck for me was people who move into new apartments are not entitled to street parking. I feel that statement is not necessarily true, because a resident of an area is entitled to the parking that they can find. Unfortunately, is how it works, right? So I feel that, like, yes, there's the issue of too much development, not enough space for people to do what they need to do. But the solution I feel is much more complex.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that. On the, the criteria list, we're definitely developing that. It was not this extensive when we first started meeting with planning groups, and it's getting more extensive as we meet with more planning groups. Like it didn't say like healthcare, it didn't say like all these other things. So as we meet with more people, we're getting more input on what this criteria should look like. And on the point on public transit, you're right, there's no like public education component to this, but going back to the situation in which, let's say we implement this, a new building with 200 units is built, 200 people move in or more, and they are going to be on the wait list to get the permit. So they're going to have to walk, bike, or take transit to move around the city. So that immediately does cause like a transit ridership increase because those people moving in have to use it. So
I'm sorry. Do you have any data in those communities where they've tried it? I've always thought it's like an interesting idea. Is there any data that does show a correlation between ridership increasing directly in those areas? I would just think a person would be like, I'll just park half a mile away.
Well, I have not seen the data, but in the neighborhoods that have it, for example, there's like, not really caps on the number of permits. So like I mentioned, a house with 5 SDSU students, they can all get a permit. So they can all bring their cars in. So like I mentioned, those other permit programs, they only serve to keep people out, not to actually manage parking within the neighborhood, which is why they still have frustrations.
Let's finish with Mr. Morales, and then we're gonna move to the next item.
Just two things to say. I agree. I completely agree with you. I do think that there should be a residential parking system here in San Isidro. I've already spoken with transportation, and they've rejected it. They said that there's not a necessary need because there's not a stadium here. There's not a hospital here. There's not a whatever. But we're at the border. It's completely unique. It's completely, it's the most transited land border in the Western Hemisphere. So there obviously needs to be a system here. So I believe that it's not about how you do it. I believe the system that the city already has in place does work, because if you don't live in the area and your permit, the time where they start enforcing the permit or stop enforcing the permit is after 7. So if you get off at work at 5, you get at home at 5:30, you have a parking usually not reserved or not secured, but it's easier to find because people who have a limited time to park there or have just 15 minutes or can't park there at all. So after 7, that's when we stop enforcing it, but by that time, most residents have already arrived home. So I believe it's not about the current system that's in place, it's about how they determine which neighborhoods or which communities actually need the parking permit. My second thing is, unfortunately, a lot of people use cars, and we would love to be a little bit more like New York and be able to transit walking distance, but that's not the case. When I was 16, I had my own car because I would go to San Isidro High School, and then I would drive up to Otay Ranch to go work at Jack in the Box. And it's not just jobs like that. I know my friends have parents that get up at 5 a.m. They go to El Cajon to work concreting. They go work roofing in Spring Valley. It's what's called residents of San Isidro don't
Work in San Isidro.
work in San Isidro. And then people who work in Las Americas aren't from San Isidro. They're from
Tijuana.
So the jobs that we have close by aren't jobs that San Isidro residents work. The jobs that are far are the ones that they work. I took the trolley twice to UCSD. It took me an hour, 30 minutes to get there because the trolley stopped, whatever. And then coming back at 7 p.m., came back, got here at 8:30 because I took the trolley just for the UCSD. It's not a feasible option using public transportation in San Diego if it's too far. Maybe if you go to Chula Vista, maybe. But I like the plan, and I completely wanna even work with you to see if we can bring this up to council, because there needs to be a special exemption for communities like San Isidro or communities like maybe even SDSU, because it's not a one size fits all, and we can't put parking meters in residential zones Downtown is a special exception because it's residential, commercial, it's whatever, it's the whole bunch of things. But San Isidro, it's exclusively residential. And we're right next to the border, which others, well, a lot of other cities have, but this, especially this border, is completely different than other borders in the rest of the world. So I do believe that we can find a solution with the idea that we gave and the different systems that we have, but it has to go to determination of how these areas are accepted and try to find a loophole. Yeah, I completely agree that there is a need for it, but it just depends on how many implementation and just acceptance from the city government.
Thank you.
If you guys do take this to city council, can you emphasize that San Isidro does tend to be a multi-generational community?
Yes.
I think people forget, and I think a lot of the politicians don't even have sight until you bring it up. I know I brought it up to Alvarez, I know I brought it up to Moreno. This is a multi-generational community because of our culture. And I think that really needs to be emphasized.
But the protection about that is that if you have a driveway that fits 2 cars and then we have a parking permit over there in SDSU that you can have up to 4 parking permits, I think, or 5 on there. And I think that's enough for a family. But again, I feel like, capping it, that's a little bit, I don't know if capping it would be a good idea. It should make it easier, not secure. It shouldn't, promise you a spot, but it should make it easier for the residents.
Thank you. Thank you all for sharing, but we have to move to the next item. If you want to answer really quick to him.
Let's talk more, and I want to thank all of you for giving your input on this. We're presenting to a lot of planning groups. We presented to North Park, Point Loma, Kensington. We're going all around the city. We're going to present to the Community Planners Committee as well, just getting input on making, how do we structure it in a way that it can work for every neighborhood. We think the petition process is important, letting the neighborhood select how they want it to work as opposed to the city just going top down, letting people themselves vote. So I appreciate your input, and we're definitely going to take this back to our graduate student and let them incorporate all of this. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Can I ask something? That there's a lot of questions regarding this subject, a lot of questions. And we're not going to cover it in half an hour. So I suggest that we continue at some other time. There's a lot of questions here.
I'd be happy to come back.
Yeah, we'll schedule something if you want him to come back.
Future meeting.
But yes, let's start with questions. Yeah.
You can share my.
Yeah, I'll share your contact information. We've been here for an hour and 30 minutes, so I'm trying to get you out of 2 so y'all can have nice dinner. But now let's go with item 5C. Ms. Galicia, do you want to give an update on what you have been working on, and I'll put in the timer.
This is an update of the traffic problem that we have in Cottonwood and Smythe Avenue. And we got a response from the city, and what they're saying is that the first time they say because of the budget, they don't have the budget to do it. Now these times when we open a case, they decided that it would be probably more cars running faster if we do it one way, which I don't think that's true. And they're not considering, the houses, like the ones that are coming from Avanzando San Isidro, the ones that are going to be at the corner. They only see what they have now, and there's going to be about 63 apartments there, 60 plus, right? And so last Friday, there was a hit and run in Cottonwood. So this is just the beginning. Like I mentioned to them, we're worried about the accidents that might happen once they build that, because we have apartments of this size, apartments on this size. And when we go to meetings and we start talking about it, I understand what they're talking about. I've been here in this in San Isidro around 60 years. So I know the street, I know what's happening and everything. So I'm going to continue working on this. I'm not letting it go. I have the support, thank God, from Paloma, Aguirre, and this support from Casa Familiar, Avanzando San Isidro. So I'm working on it. So what I'm going to do, I had a meeting a couple of weeks ago with Avanzando San Isidro, and I requested the community, for the vote so we can get signatures. And we're gonna put the heading Avanzando San Isidro. And my goal is to have a meeting with Gloria and bring, from the community, all the signatures, that because I talked to a lot of people there, and this been going on for years and years, and nobody is paying attention about that. But like they say, all the apartments that are being built around this area, there's a lot of traffic going on. I understand about the Vista Lane because I live in Vista Lane, so there's a lot of traffic. Then the one, the Dairy Mart. Now, all the apartments, and we have, it's a blind curve like this because we have the trolley there, and then we have the traffic, the regular traffic, plus we have the buses. And if everybody's parking on both sides, there's coming the bus and there's coming a SUV, you can hardly go through there. And what I'm thinking about is about the families that are going to be moving in those apartments. It's for families, for all elder people and all that, either on the walker or they have a cane or they have the mom that is coming, with the kids from the school. Then we have two schools. We have the Our Lady of Mount Carmel on this side, and then we have Sunset on this side. So there's a lot of traffic. So my suggestion is, if you don't mind, if you live in that area, once we have, the sheet for the signature, I'll appreciate if I can have your signature. You agree to have it one way so they can see, because that's what they want. They want to hear from the community. That's what I was told, that they need to find out that they really want that, because then this, like with the bike lanes, there is a lot of angry people that they don't want it there, that they were upset about it. And when I asked how many people decided with the bike lanes, there were only 4 people that made that decision about 5 years ago. And I said, why before starting all over, why they didn't have a meeting, a community meeting, so that way we decided if it's good or bad or what would be the impact. And we're seeing the impact with the parkings and all that. So I want to avoid an accident. That's my goal, to have, one-way street, so that way, feel safer and have the proper, stop signs or whatever needed there to avoid problems. Okay, so I'll appreciate it once if I can bring, those sheets that I have it ready. On the next meeting, probably I will have it. And if, like I said, if you know someone that lives in that area, because that's what they want. They want to see that really the community is what they want. Okay, I'll appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank
Do
you.
you have
Let's
any
hear from
questions?
3
Yes.
persons.
Yes.
I'm sorry, just on the agenda, it says San Isidro Boulevard 100, 200 block. That's not what we're talking about.
No, we're on
It's
item
a Cottonwood.
C. We're on item C.
Oh, okay, copy. I'm sorry.
Here's the school, the elementary school,
It's Sunset.
Sunset, and tuck the parents there.
Okay.
Because people who do drop-offs, pickups, believe me, I understand the pain of that, and it is very dangerous.
Yes.
But people who do pickup, drop-offs with schools, they understand the dangers, they see it firsthand.
Yeah, Casa Familiar suggested that. And the promoters are, once we have the sheets, they are gonna help me with that. So we can get all the signatures. And that's what we're working on. Like I said, I'm working with Casa Familiar and Avanzando San Isidro. And so they're very nice to me, and they say, yeah, we'll support you, Paloma. Like when I address that issue and say, yeah, no, I understand, and I will support you. And I've been talking, we've been having meetings with Andres, with Rodrigo also. So I'm trying. And right now, I also talked to Liliana and see if I have the support of David Alvarez also. So I'm trying. So let's hope this time works. If not, I'll keep trying.
Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
One first, second.
I do have a question. I'm sorry.
Yes.
It was very complex, and I appreciate all the hard work. I love it. But your perspective is to make it a one-way, right? That's
Right.
what you want. So it's less.
So exactly. What I want is, let's say it's San Isidro Boulevard. The bus comes and it goes up, and then Smite goes down. So it's not like it's going to be a life change, because that's what they were saying. Well, it's going to be a lot of problems because there's going to be too far for some people. It's not going to be too far.
I'm just so bad with direction, and I hate it because you're saying all these things, but I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Like that's just me. Like I
Yeah,
bad
no.
with direction.
let's say that
I
you're
need
driving on
visuals.
San Isidro Boulevard
Mhm.
and 7-Eleven.
Okay.
You go right and you're going up. That's one street. Oh,
Yeah.
and then you go down the street. The next one is Smite. You're going down, and that's it. And so it's very easy. So it's not a lot of problems. And we're also going to talk to Casa Familiar, and I we're going to try to talk to MTS to see if we can avoid any problems that they agree with what we're trying to do. Yes.
You know, I avoid Smythe. I don't even go down Smythe.
Uh-huh,
anymore.
exactly.
I go around, so I'm
Yes.
already going around. So
Exactly.
going around is not an issue. We're already
Mhm.
doing it.
Yeah, you see?
Yeah.
So that's what and you know, the people that are doing the study and they check, they don't go where when there's a lot of traffic, when the kids are getting off the school, when the moms are parking, sometimes they don't even have parking to try to get the kids from school. So it gets very complicated, and especially, when the buses are coming, the students are coming, or the people that live in that area, they want to get out and they block the entrance. So there is a lot of issues there. So that's why we're trying to accomplish. Yes.
I'm going to make a map that we can share with this group and
I'll
also
appreciate
with the CLT board,
Mhm.
so
Okay.
people can envision it.
Yeah, and tomorrow I'm having a meeting also with them to give them an update of what's going on. And because they are the ones that approve, that to have those sheets done to Avanzano San Isidro, because I'm doing it just as a member of the community. So I wanted the support of Casa Familiar, and so I used to be a promoter there during COVID. And so I decided, okay, well, let's continue with Casa Familiar and see what they can do. And they were gracious, and they say, yeah, we will support you and everything. And then also the other board of directors are from Avanzano San Isidro and the community, they agree with the situation because they can see we're so close that we know what's going on.
Thank you so much, Ms.
Okay.
Galicia.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna go to item 5D. So we're all on the same page. Elections for the board is coming on April. I'm just gonna say whose term's expiring, so you know. Marnie, your term expires in 2026. You can run.
Okay.
So it's on April. Alfredo Ripa, Mr. Ripa, you are up for re-election. Alberto Perez. Then we have Silvana Alanis is also up for re-election. Roxanne, you're up for re-election. And me, I'm up for re-election. So the way that it works, that we're gonna have to create an election subcommittee. If you're not running, then if you're running, you cannot be part of the subcommittee because it will be a conflict of interest. And you meet and basically determine the guidelines of when the election will be. The election will be on April, but kind of like what days will the election be? You want to have like 3 days, 2 days, the exact times. I can connect you to the planner since I'm gonna be up for election. I cannot be too involved, but I can connect you to the planner that can connect you with that. But for that, we're gonna need someone that is not up for election to chair that committee, and we're gonna need members to participate in that committee. So anybody would like to nominate someone to be the chair of that committee? Adriana, do you accept the nomination?
I accept.
Any other? I think it will be. So do you want to make a motion to make Adriana the chair of the?
Yes.
A second. So those are in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstain? Okay. We're gonna need a vice chair for the committee, someone that helps Adriana. So any nominations?
Roxanne, I think.
I can't because I'm up for re-election.
Oh, you're up for re-election.
I'll nominate Mr. Lopez.
Do not accept.
How
what
honest.
Time for another meeting.
Mr. Morrison?
I can't at this time.
Mrs. Espinosa? We need to. Okay, Mrs. Espinosa, I'll make the motion to make Mrs. Espinosa the vice chair of the election
Second.
committee.
Oh, yeah.
Those that are in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions?
I'm sorry.
Oh.
So this subcommittee is something different? It's something new, different we're doing, or?
Yeah, so basically from my understanding is that we have to plan our elections, like when it will be, where it will be. I will highly encourage y'all to use the social media aspect. I know like that's getting a lot of youth. And so for y'all to plan that kind of stuff, that's kind of what the committee will do.
So
And then
there's
the next
more
meeting-
room for participation, kind of to bring more people in?
Yes, but also logistics, because let's say I'm running for re-election, like it will be a little suspicious if I am in charge of the vote, So, we we want to make sure that it's someone that doesn't have a conflict of interest. But it will be all of those logistics. Yes?
So just educate me because I'm fairly new. Why are you running for reelection if you've only been on here for like a year? Why isn't that if you're brought in, why isn't that your start date?
Yeah, so we all have terms that we got elected either 2024 or 2026, every 2 years. But let's say, for example, someone resigns and someone else takes it of their term, the person doesn't get elected like the 4 years after. They finish the other person's terms. That's a way to have half of the word transition and half of the word not transition. And I think, Mr. Lopez, you were the one that gave me those.
So you keep the seat, the term belongs to the seat, not the person.
Okay.
Is that something that could possibly be changed in the bylaws? No? It's through the city?
Because of that reason. You don't want to elect 15 people every time. You want to do half 1 year, and then in 2 years when there's another election, do the other half. So you don't have 15 people every time.
Just so I can make myself clear. So if you could make a separate meeting, and I don't want to get too involved because of the conflict of interest, but you'll be in charge of making a separate meeting open for the community to discuss like when the elections will be. They have to be in April. Like what will the procedure to voting? Do you want to do online? I think I'm forgetting. I will send you all the information through an email.
Okay.
Can we have our elections be the same time as our meeting?
That'll be up to the subcommittee.
I see.
That could be a consideration.
So the term is for 4 years or 2 years?
I'll send you an email.
Okay.
Do you accept new people?
Yes, anybody in San Isidro is either, good question, yes. Anybody that lives in San Isidro in the 92173 zip code that owns a business, or owns property. So anybody that is under those categories, it's available to run. And anybody can vote, correct, Mr. Lopez?
Anybody from anywhere? Or
No,
just San Isidro?
anybody.
Be specific, yes,
Meeting the same parameters. Resident renter, resident owner, property owner, or somebody that works.
And one question, so is it usually a 2-year term?
It's a 4-year term.
And then that's my question. So me, like I've been here, is this my second year?
You probably.
So how is it, why
You
didn't I?
took somebody because you.
I remember I took, what's her name? Her name's still here, no? Oh, no, Maritza Chavarin, because she couldn't be here anymore because she had already served 8 years.
You're right.
So that makes me, how is that? I'm just curious, so I can understand that.
You took her seat, whatever.
Because ya no podía más.
Yeah.
So I took
Because
two.
if you're here more than 8 years, you need to have over
60%.
60% of the vote, and she
Didn't.
missed it by 1.
So then your term was after the end of her term, right? Is that
Yeah,
correct?
that's what it was.
He has all that.
We can discuss.
I'm just
this,
curious
yes.
but I can understand because I'm like, it has not been 4 years for me. I know for sure.
Do you have open spaces?
We have an open space that we just have to declare a vacancy and have posted for all the community. Kind of like you said, we have to tell amount in advance so anybody that is interested, they can run for election. Yes. So, any other last questions about that? Then now we're gonna go to item 5E. Hopefully, it goes quick. In a quick summary of the last meeting, we were discussing the cafecito. Omar came and he wanted to do a crosswalk by the San Isidro Boulevard. After much discussion and deliberation, we decided that we rather support a study. We don't want to say what we support, but rather we just wanted to check the area, right? I send you the letter of support. I'm gonna put it in here so y'all can read it. I'll give you around maybe, hopefully y'all are fast readers. I'll give you. Can y'all see this?
No.
Hold on. Okay.
I got
2 minutes to read this, and I will put it down. Okay? Yeah.
Can we walk up?
Can I give you a suggestion, Christian? Do you mind reading it because you're next to it? So this way, the ones that were kind of far and
Yes.
And it's on the email if you have access to your email. But I would say
What did you say? send the email? I'm gonna look it up on my.
I sent it on,
There's,
let's see, February 5th at 8 a.m. Wow.
Schedule send.
Okay, so letter of support date February 11, 2025 to the City of San Diego Transportation Department from the San Isidro Community Planning Group. Subject, strong support for a traffic study, San Isidro Boulevard, 100 to 200 block. The San Isidro Community Planning Group formally submits this letter in support of a request for a comprehensive traffic engineering study along San Isidro Boulevard between the 100 and 200 block. This corridor presents daily well-documented safety hazards that primarily impacts our most vulnerable road users, including children, seniors, persons with disabilities, low-income residents, and transit riders. New data, community field observations, and ongoing reports from local businesses show recurring near-miss collisions, unsafe bus boarding conditions, illegal U-turns, cracked sidewalks, blocked bus stops, and pedestrian exposure to high-speed vehicle traffic. Without immediate evaluation and intervention, the likelihood of severe injury or a preventable fatality remains high. This request is consistent with the city's general plan mobility, priorities and the Street Design Manual 2017, which directs public infrastructure toward a safer, people-centered mobility and transit access. Conducting a traffic study in this area is not only necessary but urgent. A timely evaluation will help identify appropriate safety improvements, reduce city liability, increase community liability, support small business access, and address safety concerns in a corridor already serving a high pedestrian volumes and MPS transit riders. Therefore, the San Isidro Community Planning Group supports the following actions. A new traffic engineering study of the 100 to 200 block of San Isidro Boulevard that reflects current pedestrians, transit, or vehicular conditions. Evaluations of a traffic calming and operational improvement to reduce illegal U-turns and vehicle speeding. Ongoing maintenance and enforcement to ensure long-term safety performance. San Isidro deserves equitable transportation safety standards and investments consistent with the rest of the city of San Diego. This request is a critical step toward protecting residents, supporting small businesses, vitality, and improving transit accessibility in our border community. Thank you for your attention to this matter. We look forward to working collaboratively to ensure this important safety evaluation moves forward. So I'm gonna make the motion to approve the letter, and then if someone wants to do discussion, let me know. But I make a motion to approve the letter. Second from Mr. Ripa. Any discussion? So those that are in favor say.
Oh, but question, who's gonna
receive it?
Yeah, who's gonna do the investigation? Not investigation, but like the
report?
Yeah, the report.
So the traffic, the city of San Diego has a transportation department, and I'm gonna CC Rodrigo, who represents the city, and Lucero, but it's specifically for the transportation department.
They're gonna do it.
So they're supposed to do it.
Oh, they're supposed to. We're asking.
That they will decide to do it.
Who's gonna bring it up? Just the planning group, or anybody else is supporting this efforts?
Just us so far. If anybody wants to join, they can support us. But yeah, those that are in favor of approving the letter say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Abstentions? Okay, the letter gets approved.
I suggest that you tell the guy from Cafecito to get all the people from that area to do a letter as well, similar to what you wrote, and they all sign it and send it in. And that's that's not just us. It's the affected area.
Okay, I will let you know.
Yeah, and send them a copy of the letter so they don't know.
Yeah. Perfect. So 6A, there is no subcommittee reports. 7A, there is nothing from the CPC. Mr. Ripa, is there anything from the Alta Mesa Planning Group? So we're gonna go to item A. It's 7:24 and the meeting is adjourned. So thank you so much and have a nice day.
Yay, thank you.